Our objective in this lesson is to solve quadratic equations by quadratic formula. Let's have a quick review of our previous lesson. Identify my A, B, and C. Number 1, we have 5x squared minus 8x equals negative 7. We have to move negative 7 on this side and then equate this to 0. From here, we can identify A, B, C. A is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the second power. So A is equal to 5. B is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the first power. So B is equal to negative 8. And C is the numerical constant. So C here is equal to 7. Number 2, we have to make our leading term positive. So let us move negative 9x squared on this side and then equate to 0. From here, we can identify A, B, C. A is equal to 9. B is equal to negative 6. And C is equal to 4. Number 3, we have to simplify this one first. And this is x squared minus 4x plus 4. Let us distribute this 2 here. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times negative 4x is negative 8x. And 2 times 4 is 8. Let us move 5 on this side and equate this to 0. 8 minus 5 is equal to positive 3. From here, we can identify A, B, C, and A is equal to 2. B is equal to negative 8 and C is equal to 3. Today, I am going to teach you the fourth way of solving quadratic equation, and that is through quadratic formula. It is expressed as negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And here are the steps of solving quadratic equation by quadratic formula. I will discuss this one by one as I go along with an example. Let us have the first one. I took this example from our lesson solving quadratic equation by extracting the roots. This time we're going to use quadratic formula and let us see if we will arrive with the same answer. Step 1 is to write the equation in a standard form. So we're going to move 36 on this side and then equate to 0. Step 2, we are going to list the numerical values of the coefficients A, B, and C. From here, our A again is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the second power, so A is equal to the invisible one. B is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the first power, and in this case, we do not have a variable raised to the first power. So it means our B is equal to 0. And C is the numerical coefficient, and that is equal to negative 36. Step 3, we have to write the quadratic formula. Again, it is equal to the negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Step 4, substitute the numerical values for a, b, and c in the quadratic formula. So we're going to substitute 1 for our a here and in here. Substitute 0 for b here as well as here, and substitute negative 36 for this one. Step 4, we have to solve for the values of x. Express answers in the simplest form. We do not have negative 0, so we're just going to cancel this. 0 is squared is still 0. Negative times negative is positive, and 4 times 36 is 144. So we have positive and negative is square root of 144. All over 2 times 1 is 2. The square root of 144 is equal to 12. So it means the first value of x is positive 12 divided by 2, and that is equal to 6. And the second value is negative 12 divided by 2, that is negative 6. And last step, we have to check the solutions. We already solved this problem and checked the roots when we discussed solving quadratic equation by extracting the roots. Hence, our answers x equals 6 and x equals negative 6 are correct. Let's have another example. We already solved this problem in our lesson, solving quadratic equation by factoring. This time, we're going to solve this using quadratic formula. Again, step 1 is to write the equation in standard form. But this one is already in standard form, so I'll just copy this one. Step 2, we're going to list the numerical coefficients of A, B, and C. A here is the invisible one. B here is negative 4. And C is negative 5. Step 3, we are going to write the quadratic formula. Step 4, we are going to substitute the values of A, B, C in our formula. So we're going to substitute 1 for our A here as well as here. We're going to substitute negative 4 for B here and here. And we're going to substitute negative 5 for our C here. Next step is we're going to solve for the values of x. Remember to express your answers in simplest form. Negative times negative is positive, so we have here positive 4. Negative 4 quantity squared is positive 16. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20. And 2 times 1 is 2. 16 plus 20 is equal to 36. And the square root of 36 is equal to 6. Let's have the first value. That would be 4 plus 6, that is 10, divided by 2. X of 1 is equal to 5. For the second value, we have 4 minus 6, and that is negative 2, divided by 2, that is equal to negative 1. And last step is you have to check your solutions. We already solved this problem and checked the roots when we discussed solving quadratic equation by factoring. Next example. This time I took this problem in our lesson, solving quadratic equation by completing the square. We're going to solve this again, but this time using quadratic formula. Let us start. Step 1 is to write the equation in standard form. This is already in standard form, but we can simplify this. Let us divide everything by 2. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. Positive 2x divided by 2 is x. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Equals 0. Next step, let us identify A, B, and C. A is invisible 1. B is also invisible 1, and C is negative 2. Next step is to write the quadratic formula. Fourth step is to substitute the values of A, B, C in the formula. So 1 for A, 1 again for B, and negative 2 for C. Next one is to solve for the values of x. Remember to express your answers in simplest form. So we have negative 1 plus minus. 1 is squared is still 1. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. All over 2 times 1 is 2. 1 plus 8 is equal to 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. Let's have the first value of x. Negative 1 plus 3 is positive 2. Divided by 2 is equal to 1. The second value of x is negative 1 minus 3, and that would be negative 4. Divided by 2 is negative 2. And finally, check the solutions. Since we already solved and checked the roots of this problem when we discussed solving quadratic equation by completing the square, then these roots are correct. Let's have another example. Quantity 3x plus 7 times quantity x minus 1 is equal to 0. So first we have to simplify this. So we're going to use FOIL method. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. 7 times x is 7x. And 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. Negative 3x plus 7x is positive 4x. From here, we can identify A, B, and C. Our A is equal to 3, B is 4, and C is negative 7. Let us write our quadratic formula, and let us substitute these values here in our formula. Negative 4 quantity squared is positive 16. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times 7 is equal to 84. And 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 16 plus 84 is equal to 100. And the square root of 100 is equal to 10. Let's have the first value of x. Negative 4 plus 10 is positive 6. Divided by 6 is equal to 1. Second value is negative 4 minus 10 is negative 14 divided by 6. Both 14 and 6 are divisible by 2, so this is equal to negative 7 over 3. Now, let us check these roots. First, let us substitute 1 in our x's here in the original equation. Are they equal? 1 minus 1 is equal to 0, and 0 multiplied by any number is still 0. Therefore, the left side is 0, and that is equal to 0. Next, let us substitute negative 7 over 3 in all of our x's in the original equation. Are they equal? 3 in the numerator here and 3 in the denominator here will simply cancel out. So we have negative 7 plus 7. Are they equal? Negative 7 plus 7 is equal to 0. And just like here, 0 multiplied by any number is 0. So 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, our answers x equals 1 and x equals negative 7 over 3 are correct. From the four examples that I have already discussed, what have you realized? I hope you realize that we can use quadratic formula to solve all types of quadratic equations. Now, try this. A soccer player kicks a ball into the air. The equation that gives the height in feet of the ball at any time in seconds is h of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus 48t. How long did it take for the ball to reach the ground? Let us first visualize this problem. Here is the ball and it will go into the air, and after some time it will fall on the ground again. So we are asked here, how long did it take the ball to reach the ground again? So we're looking for the time. We are given here the function h of t is equal to negative 16t squared plus 48t. H here is the height with respect to the time. And we are asked how long did it take for the ball to reach the ground again. When the ball reaches the ground again, it means our height is equal to 0. Let us make our leading term positive. So let us move all of these terms on this side and equate this to 0. Both 16 and 48 are divisible by 16. 16 divided by 16 is 1, so we have t squared. 48 divided by 16 is 3, so we have negative 3t equals 0. We can now identify our a, b, and c. A, again, is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the second power. So our A is the invisible one. B is the numerical coefficient of the variable raised to the first power. So B here is negative 3. And C is the numerical coefficient, and we do not have it here. So our C is equal to 0. Now let us recall our quadratic formula. Let us substitute 1 for our A here, negative 3 for our B, and for C, we have 0. Negative of negative is positive, so we have positive 3. Negative 3 quantity squared is positive 9. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 times 0 is still 0. So we're just going to cancel this portion here. All over 2 times 1 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. Let's have the first value of t. 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, and 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. 3 minus 3 is equal to 0, and 0 divided by 2 is still 0. Of course, it took some time before the ball reaches the ground again. Therefore, we're going to choose t is equal to 3. It took 3 seconds for the ball to hit the ground again. Let us do extra challenge. A rectangular lot has an area of 144 meters squared. The length is 6 meters less than 3 times its width. Determine the dimensions of the lot. So let us figure this out. We have a rectangular lot. Let us consider this as our length and this one as our width. The area of the lot is 144 meters squared. We know that the area is equal to length times width, and this will be our equation 1. And from here, we are given that length is 6 meters less than 3 times its width. In formula, that would be 3W minus 6. So L is equal to 3W minus 6. This will be our equation 2. Let us combine equation 1 and 2. Let us substitute 3W minus 6 for our L here. W times 3W is 3W squared. W times negative 6 is negative 6W. Let us move 144 on this side and let us equate this to 0. 3, 6, and 144 are all divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we have W squared. 6 divided by 3 is 2, so we have negative 2W. Negative 144 divided by 3 is negative 48, and then equate this to 0. From here, we can identify our A, B, and C. A is the invisible one, B is negative 2, and C is negative 48. Let us recall our quadratic formula. Let us substitute 1 for our A here, negative 2 for the B's, and negative 48 for C. Negative of negative is positive, so we have positive 2 plus minus. Negative 2 is squared is positive 4. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times 48 is 192. All over 2 times 1 is 2. 4 plus 192 is 196. The square root of 196 is 14. Let's have the first value of W. 2 plus 14 is 16. And 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8. Second value, 2 minus 14 is negative 12, and negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. Since we are looking for dimensions, we cannot have a negative value. We do not have a negative length or width. Therefore, the value that we are going to choose is this one. From equation 2, which is L equals 3W minus 6, we can now substitute 8 for W, so we could solve for L. 3 times 8 is 24, and 24 minus 6 is equal to 18. To check our solution, let us recall from equation 1, which is A is equal to length times width. We are given the area, and that is 144. We already have our length, which is 18, and W, which is 8. Are they equal? 18 times 8 is 144, and so they are equal. Now let us answer the dimensions of the lot. L is equal to 18 meters and W is equal to 8 meters. For the summary, here are the things that we discussed in this lesson. Take time to understand this. Now it is time to check your understanding. Pause this video for more time. Let us answer. We're going to express this in standard form. So let us move negative 12 on this side and then equate this to 0. From here, we can determine our ABC. A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 4, and C is equal to 12. Let us recall our quadratic formula and substitute the values of A, B, and C. So we have 4 plus minus. Negative 4 is squared is positive 16. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and negative 4 times 12 is negative 48. All over 2 times 1 is equal to 2. 16 minus 48 is equal to negative 32. I hope you still remember that if we have a negative number inside the square root, it means we do not have real roots. Therefore, there is nothing to check. Gets? Our next lesson is discriminant.